Hello, welcome back to a Transformed Life podcast. I am your host, Hope Rose, and I am so grateful that you are joining me for this episode today. We are going to be talking about something super powerful for your life, no matter what stage you're in, no matter what titles you have. The release of this podcast is actually the first day of spring here in the States, I guess in the Northern Hemisphere. And so that is always exciting news because spring is around the corner and springtime is one of my favorite seasons because I love warm weather. And before we dive in to the episode today, I want to invite you to leave a 5-star review on whatever platform you are listening to. If you are watching this on YouTube, then please hit subscribe. We have a lot of views on YouTube and not the amount of subscribers. So something's not adding up there. So I'd love if you would hit the subscribe button. That really helps this show. It supports my mission to heal the world, heal our soul, heal the soil, and be in service to a world that heals and helps others instead of harms. And so this is a way you can support the show. We don't receive any monetary sponsorships for this. It is simply my gift to the world. And so your support would mean a lot. Be sure to follow me on Instagram as well, Hope Rose Speaks. And yeah, I would love to see you there. Diving into today's topic is all about, and I'm checking to see if my mic is on. If you remember, gosh, maybe it was a couple months ago, I recorded an episode and my mic was off the entire time. So now I'm always double checking to make sure it is on, and it is. So we're good. We think our words are small, insignificant, they don't matter. It's just a word, it's just a phrase. We think they're harmless. We think saying just, I don't know, sorry, or maybe is no big deal. And language is never neutral. The words you repeat every day are shaping how you see yourself, how others see you, what you normalize in your life, how you view the world. It shapes your frequency, what you are bringing into your life, how you are aligning with things or misaligning with things. And words and the phrases that we say can either empower us or constrict us. And so if you want more flow in your life, I am going to share with you some really powerful phrases that so many people say, and you can literally upgrade your life through this episode today by becoming aware of what you say on a daily basis and switching them out for aligned words or phrases. And you will uplevel your life for free, other than listening to this episode by using your time, investing your time into this. And I really hope and desire that you use this episode to transform your life, because it will when you allow it to do the work. And so I'm going to, give you a lot of things to think about, of where you are saying things in your life currently and how you can pivot to more aligned language so that way you can live in a flow state, in a powerful state, instead of a contracted scarcity, loss, lack state. How does that sound? Excellent. I can hear you say, yes, give me more Hope Rose. So I will. What if you could have a really powerful conversation where your language is powerful and it doesn't shrink? Would you be interested in that? Excellent. Well, we're going to go there. This episode is not about policing every word. It is about becoming aware of the language that reflects self-trust, awareness, and where you might be abandoning yourself. And then this particular part relies on women. So many women are conditioned to soften, minimize, over explain. And if you are a woman listening to this episode, this is really going to change your life, because there's a statement in here that so many women use, and it's not a word, I guess, and it's not used in other contexts. And so I'm excited for you to listen to that. And then language reveals belief before behavior changes. So when you start changing the words you use, you are rewiring your brain. When you become aware of it, celebrate that awareness of like, oh, I just said that word. I just said that phrase. Good to know. And you celebrate that awareness. And then slowly but surely, you begin to eliminate words that are not in alignment with where you want to go in life. And you add in words and phrases that are aligned with the life that you desire and meant for to live. And simple phrases can, expose shame, uncertainty, or disempowerment. And we're going to dive into this in a little bit. So, why do words matter? Words do more than simply communicate, they reinforce identity. They reinforce identity. Who you believe you are come across in speech. What you say repeatedly becomes familiar. What becomes familiar starts to feel true. And what feels true starts, or it reinforces and shapes your reality. So many people are living in a reality they don't care for, and yet their language is reinforcing that. It's like concrete. We're going to keep pouring more concrete into these words that we are saying, these phrases we are saying, and you can make very simple changes in your life by simply beginning to notice the words and phrases you use. So many people are trying to change their lives while still speaking from the version of themselves that feels powerless, unsure, apologetic, small, stuck, timid, afraid, small. And that is not a very good state to feel that you're always in. So when we can change our language, we can actually change our reality. You can bend your reality simply by the words you are saying. So here are some examples. Saying I'm stuck over and over and over. Saying I'm overwhelmed. Saying I don't know. Saying I'm just a mom. Saying I'm probably overreacting. All those things are minimizing, downplaying, keeping you powerless, defeated. And when we take power and control over our tongue, over our speech, things become very powerful and manifesting in our lives. Like, we're always manifesting all the time. Most people think manifestation is like, oh, I'm going to, manifest this, and I'm going to have this, big mansion and fancy cars and, the dream house. People are manifesting every single second of their life. And I say kind of manifesting in quotes. They are continuing to manifest their same day cycle. They're manifesting their lack. So manifestation is not always in, big abundant things. It's also manifesting stemming from what they're speaking. For example, I don't know. Well, you're manifesting that. When you pivot, I'm going to give you the reframe for I don't know in a second here. When you continue to say I don't know, you're going to manifest I don't know. And that puts you in a state of powerlessness. So you can manifest, quote unquote negative. You can manifest, quote unquote, positive. So it's kind of, up to you with a lot of different caveats here. Yes, there's the subconscious, there is beliefs, there's trauma, there's all these different layers to our wonderful human system. And part of it has to do with the words we say. Sometimes the shift simply begins by changing the language first. So, you can have trauma, you can have, CPTSD, which I'm a card carrying member of. And again, I always, say, yes, I am a survivor of intimate partner violence. That is not my identity. If I kept saying that over and over and over again, pretty soon I would start to identify as a powerless, weak woman, and I don't. Have I experienced domestic violence and intimate partner violence? Yes. And it's not yes, but it's yes, and I am still moving forward in my life, healing what needs to be healed, rewiring things, receiving healing, different, healing modalities that I absolutely am so grateful for, and not getting stuck, choosing not to stay stuck in the story that doesn't align with where I desire to go. I have some huge visions for the world, Mother Earth, tangible mothers, and humanity. And if I would stay stuck in the identity of, I'm a domestic violence survivor of intimate partner violence, that would keep me there. So, whatever you are identifying as, really begin to switch it out as it's an adjective, it's an experience. I experienced this. Yes, it was awful. Yes, things happened, and I'm choosing to move forward, and I'm not going to allow that to have power over my life. I'm a more powerful being than that experience that I had. So the first phrase we are going to tackle is one of my favorite ones. And I hear this one a lot. And it's this: I don't know. And I don't know can shut down curiosity, intuition, self-trust. It puts you into a state of powerlessness. It puts you into offloading responsibility, not taking responsibility for the choice you have right now with your language, with the situation you might be experiencing. And it's a really victim mindset, victim language. I don't know. When I point this out, you will notice how often you will begin to hear this in other people's speech, as well as in your own speech. So, what do we replace it with? I wonder. Let me think about that. What is this showing me? What do I already know? I'm still uncovering that. And my favorite really is, the first one. I wonder. I wonder where that comes from. I wonder how I could receive more money. And when you move into any of those replacement phrases, you're moving into a state of power, of bending your reality to having what you want. It's curious. I wonder how I can get curious about this. I'm seeking the answer. And when you take power of your language, it is such a powerful thing, no pun intended. And a lot of times, almost all the time, because all the answers are with inside us. Yes, other people may come into our field to help us unlock things that we have not seen. They can work with the subconscious. They can point things out to us. And it's really just kind of removing everything that's not aligned. The answer is always within us. And so I don't know is really a false statement. We actually do know. And that's why when you say, I wonder, let me become curious, not let me become curious. Then we have power and autonomy over our choices and over the life that we want to live, or what we want to call in, or, whatever answer you're seeking. So a lot of times you do know the answer. It might not be the full answer. It might not be the whole complete picture. You have a feeling, you might have a clue, a next step, a truth in the body where you can kind of feel of, oh yeah, my body softened. Oh, my body tightened. And that is really powerful because when you're in truth with your body, then you can begin to move forward in your life and you're not moving from a state of contraction, lack, loss, scarcity. And that's really powerful for living a transformed life, being a powerful woman, mother, father, CEO, business owner. You're a healed version of the unhealed version of your past. And this is especially important for women. I feel like women say this a lot. I don't know, because women collectively have been taught to, disconnect from her intuition, her inner knowing. Women have been burned at the stake, and this collective hate towards women, females, is still plaguing our society. And so when women begin to take ownership of their language, just like by using the word, woman, lady, instead of girl for adult women, adult females, we begin to take our autonomy back, our sovereignty. And we are not possessions. Women, mothers are not, possessions. And that is one way we can heal the world. Intuition is being talked over when we say, I don't know. And I don't know is also a protection response. So bringing in parts work. What part is saying, I don't know? Could it be like, it's a protecting, it's, fear of abandonment. If I do say the answer, then I'm going to be rejected. I'm going to be abandoned. I'm going to be left. So working with parts in this phrase of I don't know is really helpful. This next one is phrase 2, just. And just is often a shrinking word. It's minimizing, it could be manipulative. And I'll give some examples here in a second. It is it's very pervasive, just. And I know there's companies out there with the word just in them. Because most people are so unaware of their language. They're just kind of, walking around in a box and they haven't even, opened the box to see, oh, is this word aligned with really what I want for humanity? So here are a few examples. Sending an email, just checking in, it's very manipulative. Instead of checking in, it's directive. It's like it has authority and power behind it. Just checking in, it minimizes your email because you're trying to get something instead of checking in, wanted to see how you were doing. Another one. I just wanted to ask. I'm just a stay-at-home mom. You would never say, I'm just a CEO. And yet you hear all the time, I'm just a stay-at-home mom. I'm just a mom. And even for fathers, I'm just a father. You don't hear that with fathers. It's like, I am a father. And yet women have somehow adopted this cultural conditioning of, I'm just a mom, I'm just a stay-at-home mother. And that's so misaligned. It's, I am a stay-at-home mother. I am a mom. I am a father. I am a CEO. So you see the discongruency there of, the more masculine is very kind of like, sure, I'm a CEO. I'm a father. Fathers are not saying, I'm just a father, I'm just a dad. But yet mothers feel like they have to be, they have to diminish their role, which is really sad. They have to shrink. I just have a small business. I just need a minute. And it's has this sense of, asking for permission. We don't say he is just a CEO. We don't say she's just a surgeon. And yet women constantly downplay motherhood, caregiving, rest, emotion, leadership, creative work, and needs. So it's really powerful when women begin to eliminate just from their vocabulary. So here are some better replacements for you so what you can switch it out. I wanted to ask. I am checking in. I am a stay-at-home mother. I am a mother. I'm a loving mother. I need a minute. I'm taking a minute. I run a business. Powerful words that have like authority behind them, not asking for permission, not timid and not shrinking, not playing small, simply being in your full presence and essence, especially for women that are listening to this. So the main takeaway that I want you to remember from this word just is remove just and notice how much more direct and honest you sound, you feel, and how that is coming back to you in your emails, in your communication with your children, with your partner, with your customers, clients, in your business, and just, with your friends even. When you are direct and standing tall, sitting up straight in your language, notice how that frequency feels in your body, mind, and spirit. This is another really popular one. This one is very pervasive, and I have been working on this one myself of this word. Actually, all of these I have because I'm human too. And that's why I love to share everything that I've learned with you. And it's kind of, the fuel for this podcast. Phase number 3 is the word but. B-U-T, not two T's. But often erases whatever is said before it. I hear even so many professional speakers use the word but, and I kind of cringe because I'm like, we could elevate your speaking to a whole new level by removing some of these words. Examples: I love him, but I'm grateful, but I'm healing, but I'm still poor. I know I've grown, but. And the word but can cancel, dismiss, override truth, and also creates contradiction instead of integration. So really, there's only one word to replace but, and it's and. So every time you hear yourself use or write but, backspace and write and. And if what you said previous, if that's not in line, if that's not truth, then rewrite it to the truth. Because we want integrity with the words that we say. At least I hope you do. And when we use the word and, again, it brings power and authority back to our language, back to, our present state. So here are some examples of how you would use the word and. I love him, and this hurts. I am grateful, and this is still difficult. I am healing, and I still become triggered. I have grown, and I still have work to do. So you're really taking ownership of the word. And what I would, want you to really remember is that and creates wholeness, and it lets two things be true. So replace the word but with and. Phrase number 4, I have to. I have to creates pressure, force, and resentment. Here are some examples. I have to go work out. I have to do this. I have to go. I have to figure it all out. And some more aligned phrases for this is I choose to. You can use the word, I'm very cautious with using the word get, because get has kind of the energy of grabby, clingy. If it is appropriate, you could say, I get to, or I am blessed to work out. I am grateful to work out. Really be careful of using the word get. I am deciding to. It is important to me to. I am blessed. I am grateful. I choose this. And those come from a very powerful place. And so language has the power to change your life and your future and current lineage, which is so amazing. Not everything is a privilege. And this is not about fake positivity. It is about noticing where agency, your sovereignty, exists. And, there's a difference between obligation and alignment. If you're feeling obligated to do something, then you're not in alignment. Do you have to do whatever it is on your, you know, task list? No, you don't have to. How could you reframe it? Okay, if I, don't go to work, then I don't pay my bills. Okay, so I'm choosing to work. See, like you have more agency in that. So if you view everything that you have to do it, then that's when life becomes a grind. That's when people, kind of get into the hustle culture because they have to. They have to keep chasing, the rat race. And the other thing I want to mention to you is how choice creates more power than pressure. So when you move from like I have to I choose to work today. I choose to do this. I'm making a choice to go through with this, whatever it is. I'm making a choice to go work out because I know how great I will feel afterwards. I know how healthy I will feel because health and fitness is important to me. And if you're constantly being the judge over your internal self, you're always on trial and you'll never win that way. And so if you can move yourself from your own prosecutor to kind of being your defender and your advocate with your language, you might just notice how life becomes a lot more smoother for you and more in flow. Phrase number 5, I should. Anytime you hear the word should, it generally has a judgment around it. And should is often the voice of conditioning, not truth. Here are some examples. I should be further along. I should know this by now. I should be over this. I should be handling this better. Should typically carries a lot of shame and judgment. It compares your real human experience to an imaginary standard. And so some better questions to ask, is that actually true? Says who? What do I need instead? What is true for me right now? And should is also part of, parts work of like what part is becoming activated. Is it a protector? Should often disconnects you from reality and compassion. And so when you can move into a place of internal compassion and curiosity for yourself, you'll notice your outer world becomes a little softer as well as your inner world becoming softer, more gentle, more kind, more loving. So really looking at how often you are currently using the word should. Phrase number 6, and I think we've talked about this on this show before, is I'm sorry. This is particularly for women. I think it's like 9 out of 10, 9 out of 10 women are using this. Men, women, or 90% of women use this, and like 10% of women. 90% of women say this, and 10% of men use this word. Saying sorry for the most ridiculous things, like they bump into a wall. Sorry. And the more you keep apologizing, you are apologizing for taking up space. You're apologizing for your existence. And I will say, using the word sorry up until a couple of years ago was really in my vocabulary. And I was so unaware of it until a mentor brought it to my attention. And it is all now, I would say, almost completely eradicated, completely eliminated from my vocabulary. Unless if I really need to use it, of course I will. But most times, women are saying, I'm sorry. It is not because they hurt someone or did something wrong. It's, I'm sorry, I looked at the flower wrong. They are apologizing for taking up space because it's a cultural thing. Women have been so, degraded, devalued, um, uh, expendable, even with this whole, cultural movement of the transgenderism. being erased. Women have been, you know, in the center of being erased for centuries. Just like I said, a couple minutes ago, women have been burned at the stake, and women are currently being burned at a stake in different forms. One is through family court. How many mothers and women are going through family court, and the patriarchy system, abusive fathers, the whole court system, are trying to erase mothers from children's life. And that's, that is part of, my story. And until we bring women back into their full sovereignty, and we guide women to stop saying I'm sorry, or using the word sorry for every little thing that has nothing to do with them, we will continue kind of this epidemic. And so, really eliminating sorry from your vocabulary and from your mind and from your speech is one of the most powerful things you can do. So here are some examples. Sorry to bother you. Sorry, one more thing. Sorry for asking. Sorry for the delay. Sorry, can I share something? Not every apology is wrong. As many are unnecessary and come from over accommodation, people pleasing, feeling like they need to shrink, apologizing for taking up space, apologizing for their existence. So here are some better replacements, more aligned phrases for you. Thank you for your patience. Excuse me, like if you bump into something, excuse me, pardon me. Thank you for waiting. I appreciate your time. I have one more thing to add. I'd like to share something. Those are more powerful statements where you are not apologizing for your existence. This is for women. You're not apologizing for your existence, and you're not apologizing for taking up space, because you're not too much. So, my dear fellow sisters, stop apologizing for being a woman with needs, questions, timing, and presence. Phrase number 7, I'm stuck, I'm overwhelmed. These phrases can become identity statements. Whatever comes after, I am is really powerful, because you're saying, this is who I am. They may be true descriptions of the moment or the experiences that you have had. And when repeated enough, they become self-concepts and your self-identity. So some more aligned phrases you could use. So this is for, instead of I'm stuck, I'm in transition. I'm unclear. I'm meeting resistance. I need a next step. For overwhelmed, I need to slow this down. I need support. I have too much open right now. I need to simplify. So when you name the actual need, not just the emotional state, you're bringing power back to yourself and back to your life. You're not offloading responsibility of like, I'm stuck and I'm helpless. It's, I'm unclear and I'm curious, not I'm unclear and I don't know what to do. It's, I'm unclear and I'm wondering what the next step is. When you meet everything with this curiosity and this place of expansion, it's a game changer for your whole world, for your whole life. Phrase number 8, maybe. Maybe often shows hesitation where clarity already exists. So here are some examples. Maybe we could. Maybe I'm not ready. Maybe I want that. Maybe that doesn't work for me. Sometimes maybe is honest. Usually it is how we soften the truth to stay palatable, in that like asking for permission type energy. So some more aligned replacements could be, my preference is, I want. That doesn't work for me. I'm not available for that. I require more time before deciding. And the main takeaway for you here is clarity is kinder than vagueness. Being very precise and direct with a loving, kind manner. Clarity is kinder than vagueness. When there's vagueness, then it's easy for the other person to manipulate. It's easier for you to back down on your standards. It's easier for you to back down on your boundaries. And it's just simply not a place. I just use the word just. Did you hear that? It is simply not a place. So these are maybe not phrases you say. I still want to bring it to your attention. And this is phrase words number 9. I'm too much. This is more of a, most people won't say I'm too much. They think it. I'm too much, needy, sensitive. And these are often shame labels, never truth. So a woman with depth becomes called too much. A woman with needs becomes called needy. A woman who notices becomes called sensitive. And so some better reframes on this is this is women again. I have depth, I have needs, and I honor them. I am perceptive. I am deeply feeling. I need the right container. I desire reciprocity. I am attuned. I honor my intuition. And so what I want you to remember is a lot of what women have been shamed for is actually sensitivity, intelligence, intuition, discernment, and humanity. And when we stop apologizing for our existence and we remove I don't know and sorry from our vocabulary, ladies, world begins to shift around us into a more powerful state. This one is a really it's another one. This one always kind of catches people off guard. And it's phrase number 10, and it's instead of good morning, it's grand rising, not morning. So morning, most people say good morning, and they think it's MORN, and it's the same word as morning, MOURNING. And mourning is, weeping, sadness. It's like a funeral. You're in a time of mourning. And who wants to start their day in mourning? And so I always like to say grand rising instead of good morning. And, whether people use good morning or grand rising, it's less about the exact phrase and more about the intention and awareness. So you could say, some people love saying grand rising because it feels more conscious and alive, intentional. Some hear morning and they think of morning, so MORN versus MOURN. And again, it's just really being awareing. It is simply being mindful of the words you say because words cast spells. And so for me, I really like to cast good spells with the words I say, and I like to say grand rising. So I invite you for your consideration to join me in grand rising instead of good morning. Whether you agree with that or not, the larger point is this. The words we carry, words carry energy. And people are craving language that feels aligned. And so the main takeaway here for you in my invitation is to become more conscious with what comes out of your mouth every single day. Because what comes out of your mouth is already starting inside your mind, your psychology. And so when you become aware of the words you say, the words you speak, are they life-giving for yourself and for the recipient? Or are they dismissive? Are they shrinking? Are they asking for permission? Are they just habitual? And when we come into just, habitual dying instead of living, that's when life begins. And that's why life feels so heavy for people because they're just kind of living in the same day, Groundhog Day. And when we kind of wake ourselves up of like, oh, we can change our reality simply by starting with this suggestion of changing the words I say, leveling them up. Before you dive into changing your language, the first step is listen to yourself. What are you saying? You notice as you've been listening to this episode, how I've even caught in myself, and I've said it right on this show. Again, this show is unedited, so it's in full script. Nothing has been edited. And I catch myself in real time. I'm listening to myself. Oh, that's aligned. This isn't. I noticed I said that word. Fascinating. I'm going to celebrate that. And we're giving myself, like that dopamine hit of celebration. We don't become angry with ourselves. We become curious. We celebrate the awareness that we noticed we said that word that is no longer aligned with where we are in life. So here are some suggestions for you for your consideration. Notice the phrases you repeat the most. Notice which words make you smaller. Notice where you apologize unnecessarily. Notice where you downplay your needs through your language. Notice where your language sounds powerless, rushed, ashamed, or uncertain. And this is not about making yourself wrong. Simply notice. Again, you're celebrating the awareness that you've had, like, oh, I I used the word, I noticed I said sorry. Good to know. And when you begin to celebrate the notice of what you're saying, then your language will suddenly begin to shift. And you can ask yourself, is this true? Is this the most powerful way to say this? Is this language coming from fear or truth? What would self-trust sound like here? And, my closing message for you here is that your words are showing you your patterns. They're showing you where you minimize, where you abandon yourself, where you hesitate, where you hide, where you are dismissive, where you are avoidant, where you are shrinking, playing small, all of these different things, asking for permission, where you have been conditioned to shrink, conditioned to, apologize for your existence. And then they can also become the place where you begin to return to yourself because you're coming back to the awareness. So you don't need to totally have a new life overnight. Sometimes you simply need a more truthful sentence or more truthful words, an honest phrase, an aligned phrase, a grounded way of speaking to yourself about yourself. Because the way you speak is shaping the way you live and the way you view the world. And this is why words are so matter. So to kind of go over this again, this is the 9 phrases or 10 that we talked about. I don't know, just, but, I have to, I should, I'm sorry, or using the word sorry, I'm stuck, overwhelmed, I'm fill in the blank, maybe, too much, needy, sensitive, good morning, grand rising. So I invite you to start listening to your own language. Choose words that reflect truth, not conditioning. And my, recommendation, suggestion for you is, this week, pick one word or phrase you want to stop using. Replace it with the suggestions I had above. Something that is honest, something that is true, grounded, and powerful. You're not outsourcing your responsibility. You have the power within you. It is not performative. It is not forced. It is simply true. Pay attention to what comes out of your mouth this week. Your language is always revealing exactly where your healing is asking to happen next. I really appreciate you joining me for this episode today. Please leave a show note of something that was brought to your attention in listening to this. What words and phrases are you using currently that you would like to level, eliminate from your life, and pivot to something that is aligned? I would love to hear from you. And as always, if you need support in this, I would love to guide, mentor, coach you on this. Go to my website, hoperosespeaks.com, and you can get in touch with me there. Mentoring and coaching, guiding people into transformative experiences is such powerful, amazing work. And, working with the energetic patterns, we can, get to the root issue very quickly, and you're not in the same loop over and over. And you can have the amazing life that you are meant for. And I would be honored to walk that path with you. Please follow me on my social media platforms at Hope Rose Speaks. Leave a 5-star review on Spotify or Apple. That would mean the world to me. And subscribe on YouTube if you're watching there. And I think that's going to wrap up today's show. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you next week. Gosh, we're almost in the month of April of 2026. And I am sending you much love, blessings, and gratitude. And may you have a beautiful day. Cheers.